I'm gonna be 100 with y'all, okay? I am so jealous of my sister. Absolutely jealous of my sister. And I'm gonna tell you why. So my entire childhood, since Mia was born, as a child, that's one of my triggers, is my sister. That is a trigger for me. She got to get raised by my dad that I didn't get to. She went to prom, all things that had I just grown up with my dad, I could have had those things too. And so that is the reason for the jealousy factor. Whenever she started her new job, Mia actually moved in here with Ken while I was still on parole. And she was living in this room. This was her room. My new room was her room. If I was so jealous of my sister, would I have let her move in with my boyfriend? No. Just saying.
The whispers about Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her half-sister Mia just won't die down, and honestly, the comparison between the two is sparking more drama than anyone expected. People online have been pointing out that while Mia seems to be thriving in every aspect of her life, Gypsy's world looks more like a carefully staged production. Mia has that classic girl next door energy, blonde, petite, wholesome, the kind of vibe that society eats up instantly.
What was that? Oh yeah. So a lot of people don't know the real me, and that's because it's like I look at the comment section, and as much as people say don't look at the comment section, I look at the comment section. It's completely human to do. So I'm like, I'll read whenever people are like, you're not as fashionable as your sister. Number one, I'm not trying to be my sister. My sister is her own person. I'm my own person, and I'm okay with that. But that leads me into another kind of topic.
Her social media paints the picture of a charmed life, filled with love and light. She and her boyfriend Andre look like they stepped straight out of a rom-com, laughing in cozy selfies, celebrating milestones with family, and radiating the kind of chemistry that doesn't need a filter. When Mia graduated, she wasn't just smiling for the cameras, she had her whole family behind her, Dad Rod, stepmom Christy, grandparents, and friends, everyone genuinely rooting for her. That kind of support system is priceless, and it shows in the way her life is unfolding. Then you glance over at Gypsy's Instagram, and the difference is glaring. Her posts with Ken Eichner come across stiff, like they're rehearsed rather than real. The love story Gypsy is trying to sell to her followers isn't exactly landing, because the smiles look strained and the intimacy feels forced. Rumor has it, Ken's affection doesn't flow naturally, almost like he's participating out of obligation rather than passion. It's a tough comparison when Mia and Andre are out here looking like couple goals without even trying. But the tension doesn't stop with romance. The family dynamic between the sisters tells a bigger story. Mia grew up with a stable foundation, a supportive father and stepmother who encouraged her education and her dreams. Gypsy, on the other hand, was trapped in DD's control, cut off from that fatherly bond and isolated from a normal childhood. People speculate that Gypsy has always carried a quiet bitterness about the life she didn't get to live, and now watching Mia succeed is like rubbing salt in an old wound.
My sister. So I have been seeing so often in my comment sections and videos about how I'm so jealous of my sister. Okay, I'm gonna be 100 with y'all, okay? Absolutely did I used to be jealous of my sister. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you when, and I'm gonna tell you why. So my entire childhood, since Mia was born till even when I was in prison, probably even right before I got.
What really gets tongues wagging is the irony that Mia is pursuing a career in the medical field, given Gypsy's history with Munchausen by proxy and her mother's obsession with fabricated illnesses. While Mia is building something steady, admirable, and respected, Gypsy is allegedly leaning into drama and attention-seeking. Insiders claim Gypsy thrives on being the center of conversation, even if it means fueling public feuds or curating picture-perfect posts that don't match reality.
I was jealous of my sister. Why? Because my mother always used to tell me, and this is one example, but I'm gonna give you more. My mother, where every time my birthday would come around, Thanksgiving or any kind of family holiday or something, my mom would be like, your dad didn't get you a birthday gift, or your dad didn't call you, or this, that, and the other. Your dad didn't do this because he's too busy with his other daughter, his favorite daughter.
And let's not forget Gypsy's reputation when it comes to competition. She's been known to get messy when she feels overshadowed. Remember the chaos with her ex Ryan, where dirty laundry was aired for everyone to see? Sources close to her say she doesn't take kindly to being in second place, and with Mia's star rising, between her career path, her stable relationship, and her glowing public image, it wouldn't be shocking if Gypsy was quietly fuming. The boyfriend situation alone is fueling endless tea.
So as a child, and yes, I was a child, growing up into my teen years and even young adult, I was told that my dad didn't love me, that he loved his other two kids more. So growing up, that was already ingrained in my head. So people want to talk about my triggers. That's one of my triggers, is my sister. That is a trigger for me. Then when I got out, I got to have a relationship with my dad because, I was jealous of my sister, because she got to grow up with my dad.
Mia and Andre's connection looks effortless, the kind of love that feels unshakable. There's even chatter about long-term plans, wedding bells, future kids, maybe even the white picket fence dream. Meanwhile, the buzz around Gypsy and Ken paints a different picture entirely. Allegedly, their relationship is heavy with guilt trips, emotional manipulation, and moments that look more like negotiations than romance. Some fans even believe the rare affectionate photos between them only happen after some serious persuasion. This is where the speculation heats up. Could Gypsy's alleged jealousy extend beyond simple sibling rivalry? People are saying it's not just Mia's picture-perfect life that stings, it's the fact that Mia is everything Gypsy has tried and failed to present herself as. Where Mia shines effortlessly, Gypsy is constantly fighting for validation. And every time Mia hits another milestone, from graduation to career moves, Gypsy's curated image starts to look a little shakier.
She got to get raised by my dad, and in this, ideal home situation that I didn't get to. She went to prom, she went to school, she went to college, all things that, I thought, had I just grown up with my dad, I could have had those things too. But I didn't grow up with my dad. My life turned out very different from my sister's. And so that is the reason for the jealousy factor. And so when I got out, I got to have a relationship with my dad. I got to build on that. I got to, start living my life, not held back by my mother or held back by prison, but I got to start living my life and have a relationship with my sister and get to actually know her.
Still, it's not all black and white. Gypsy's past is one of trauma and survival, and it's not hard to imagine how deep those scars run. But the gossip swirling around paints her as someone who isn't content watching from the sidelines, someone who might stir the pot the moment she feels like the spotlight is slipping away. And right now, with Mia glowing brighter than ever, the rumor mill says Gypsy's insecurities might be bubbling under the surface. People close to the situation say the jealousy between Gypsy and Mia is layered, not just about the surface-level differences in their lives, but rooted in years of complicated family history. For Gypsy, Mia has always been the mirror reflecting back everything she didn't get, and that's a wound that hasn't fully healed, no matter how much Gypsy tries to dress it up for the cameras. Allegedly, DD was the architect of this bitterness. She didn't just isolate Gypsy from the outside world, she actively planted seeds of division between her and her father, Rod. Whispers suggest that DD would remind Gypsy constantly that Rod loved Mia more, spinning stories about missed calls and forgotten birthdays as proof. Picture being a little girl, already trapped in a world of fabricated illnesses, and then being told repeatedly that your dad had no time for you because he was too busy doting on your sister. Whether or not it was true didn't matter. It shaped Gypsy's view of her family and created a permanent rift in how she saw Mia.
Not from like the communication that we'd have in prison, like the phone calls. I got to actually know her. And then I came to realize that, you know, yeah, our life turned out vastly different. We're we're sisters, but we are so different from each other. And I learned that that is okay. And I let all of that jealousy go. And I started to actually have a relationship with my sister, and she would help me out with style and all this kind of stuff.
This is why, when Gypsy refers to Mia as her trigger, it sends shivers down the spine of anyone paying attention. Because in Gypsy's world, trigger doesn't mean something minor that gets under your skin. For someone with her history, it signals a cascade of overwhelming emotions: panic, anger, confusion, maybe even clouded judgment. Allegedly, Gypsy has admitted that her perception of reality can blur when she's triggered, almost to the point of delusion.
And all this kind of stuff. We were able to forge a bond with each other through all of that. And all of that got left in the past. And I am so proud of my sister for the person that she is today. She is my daughter's godmother. She's her aunt and she's her godmother. I made Mia the godmother, and my brother the godfather. And so the things that people like to throw at me is, you're not as good as your sister. You're not as, no, I'm not my sister, and I'm okay with that.
So when she says Mia triggers her, it's not just casual sibling rivalry. It's years of unresolved abandonment, jealousy, and rejection bubbling to the surface in a way that could get volatile. Now, if you zoom out and look at the family dynamics, the contrast couldn't be clearer. Rod was present and supportive in Mia's life. He was at her milestones, encouraging her education, helping her grow into a confident young woman. She had a stable home with Rod and Christy, and that kind of consistency created the foundation Mia's standing on today. Gypsy, in contrast, was left to navigate DD's chaos. No prom, no graduation, no college experience. Instead, she got manipulation, control, and eventually prison.
I am okay with that. I am proud of my sister. When my sister was, and they filmed this for the show, but they did not air it. When Mia was moving from her place that she had to her new place, she needed to get her feet on the ground whenever she started her new job. And so Mia actually moved in here with Ken while I was still on parole. And it was only for a few months, but that's what family does for each other. And she was living in this room. This was her room. My new room was her room, temporarily. She was at work a lot of the time, so she'd just come here to sleep. A lot of times she would be traveling back and forth to Lafayette. Her boyfriend would come stay for a little bit. It's just what family does. So anyway, I think it's so funny that people are like, yeah, you're so jealous of your sister. If I was so jealous of my sister, would I have let her move in with my boyfriend when I wasn't even living here? No. A, I trust my boyfriend, and B, I trust my sister. It's what family does for each other. So, what you guys think is going on social media, you probably don't even know what's really going on. Just saying. So with that being said, I have a good relationship with my sister, and no one on TikTok is gonna ruin that for me, and no one's gonna ruin it for her. I think she's doing an awesome job as an influencer, and she's doing an awesome job as a nurse. I'm super proud of her. Okay, so moving on from that.
Insiders say Gypsy herself has admitted she envied Mia's so-called perfect life. And when Mia shares photos with Rod, smiling proudly at her graduation or celebrating milestones, it doesn't just come across as sweet family content for Gypsy. It allegedly feels like a direct reminder of every call she didn't get, every hug she missed, and every ounce of validation she craved from her father. The sting doesn't end with family, though. Mia's romance with Andre adds another layer to this tangled mess. Their relationship is pure rom-com energy, playful, authentic, filled with real affection that shines through every post. They're the type of couple that doesn't need to prove anything, because the love speaks for itself. Meanwhile, Gypsy and Ken are constantly under scrutiny. Fans online speculate their relationship looks more like a performance than a partnership. Ken's body language in photos often sparks comments, stiff, forced, almost as if he's reluctantly posing rather than naturally affectionate. Rumors suggest Gypsy pushes hard for cuddly photos and public displays, trying to convince the world, and maybe herself, that she's living her own fairy tale. But when you put her posts side by side with Mia and Andre's, the difference is undeniable. One radiates effortless love, while the other feels carefully staged. That comparison alone is enough to fuel envy, but insiders say the bigger issue is that Mia represents everything Gypsy has chased but hasn't managed to hold onto: stability, authenticity, and unconditional love. And when Gypsy feels overshadowed, she's never been the type to keep it quiet. We've seen it before. Her messy fallout with Ryan, where she aired every detail like it was a TV drama, is just one example. People whispered that this same pattern could easily repeat whenever Mia's glow gets too bright. What really got gossip circles buzzing, though, was Gypsy's recent attempt to spin a new narrative. She claimed she and Mia had bonded over the past year and a half, sharing style tips and moving past old jealousy. On the surface, it sounded like growth, a fresh start. But then came the slip. She still referred to Mia as her trigger. Present tense. That tiny detail had bloggers and fans dissecting every word, because it suggests that despite the friendly facade, the jealousy hasn't gone anywhere. It's just lurking under the surface, waiting for the right spark. Some even say Gypsy's moods around Mia can shift in an instant. If Mia posts a photo with Rod, if she gets more likes on a selfie, or if she shares another moment with Andre that screams authentic love, Gypsy allegedly feels that sting all over again. And with her history of reacting impulsively when emotions run high, that unpredictability has people wondering if family gatherings could turn explosive. Mia, for her part, isn't feeding into the drama. She's thriving quietly, focusing on her degree, her career, and her relationship. She's not looking to compete with Gypsy, not throwing shade, not stirring the pot. But ironically, it's that authenticity, the effortless glow that Mia carries, that makes the contrast with Gypsy's life so glaring. And that contrast is what keeps the rumor mill churning. The big question hanging in the air now is whether Gypsy can truly coexist with Mia without letting jealousy run the show. Holidays are coming, and people can't help but wonder what happens when the trigger and the golden child are sitting at the same table. Will Gypsy play nice, or will old wounds spill into new drama? Because if history has shown us anything, Gypsy doesn't fade quietly into the background when she feels overshadowed. And that's the tea that has everyone talking. Mia represents the life Gypsy longed for but never had: a stable family, real love, and freedom from chaos. And for Gypsy, that's not just envy. That's a lifelong sore spot that, allegedly, still hasn't healed. And that's where we'll leave it for now. This family tea just keeps getting hotter. Do you think Gypsy can really move past the jealousy, or is another meltdown waiting to happen? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you're hooked, and don't forget to subscribe for more drama breakdowns.